There we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to HoGaLe's Global Astrology. Know your nation, know yourself, or know your planets, know yourself. Interchangeable. We have another HoGaLe's session for you, and we are back to the power of three. Yeah. We are back to the power of three. And let me tell you, I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. Strap yourself in, folks, because there's some really interesting questions that have come up, and there's one in particular that's come up, question number 4, which will reveal itself, which is a revelation for me. I'm literally only found out about this scenario just before I started the show, so the ladies are not sure what to expect. As usual, we just throw each other in the deep end. And then we just go for it. Please don't forget, of course, if you'd like to support the show, then please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification. Of course, if you would like to subscribe to the ladies, their channels are in the video description below. And just in case if you've not heard it already, yes, the retreat in Rome that I've been talking about is happening. So if you'd like to join me in October 2024, can you believe it? All of the details are in the video descriptions. Bookings are now open, so I'd love to see you there. Right, ladies, are you ready? I'm just going to throw you in. I've got the questions here. And this is, some quite hot chili stuff. But anyway, we're going to start with Iceland. We're starting off a bit calm. We're going to start with Iceland, and then you'll see the temperature sort of like increases. Anyway, so this question has come in, and I've put this in the notes as Iceland volcano crack. Yeah. So Nicola McClafferty, thank you for your question. She's put here, and on a non-political front, the other story of interest is that a worker has fallen into a deep crevice in Grindavik, Iceland. Oh dear, because we predicted, we were saying that volcano thing is probably going to erupt, they'll evict, but it's not going to be some cataclysm. But it seems someone has dropped into one of the cracks. It appears that areas may be unstable and volcanic activity is still a potential. Have residents been allowed back into the town too early? Oh, and will the town have to be evacuated again? So let's just see. Have they been allowed back too early? And will they have to be re-evacuated? And that's our warm-up question.
Yeah,
I think
I read a lot of Nordic noir, crime fiction set in the Scandinavian countries and Iceland, and I'm kind of obsessed, like it's such an extraordinary environment, how people live there.
I would love to go there, actually. And I think question number 4 is quite literally a molten lava question.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a real eye popper for me. I'm like, what? Anyway, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Iceland, have they evacuated too soon, and will they have to? Have they returned too soon, and will they have to re-evacuate? Okay, who's ready to go first? Who's ready? And if no one's ready, I can do the comments.
No, I'm ready.
Okay, go for it, Lena.
Interesting cards. So it starts off with the Lovers and the Two of Cups, which are very similar cards in lots of ways. In other words, people are communicating and working with each other here very closely. The government has its sword raised symbolically here. They are onto it. I think they might have to evacuate again because there's this 8 of Wands, which is whoosh. And the Death card here meaning the risk of death if they stay. But my little spread finishes with the Two of Swords. So in other words, they're watching it very closely, and they'll make a decision, and people will abide by it. So even if they've just got out, they've just got back, and they say go again, I think they will. The communication cards are strong.
Okay, interessante. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, the overriding card is about the families. So they're at the center of it, feeling pushed to the edge. There are those that are having the control of what they are saying to the people communicating to them. Going into it, looking at their lives, this felt like, a tower moment, very difficult when it comes to their home stability. And then underneath of it, again, we have the karma card. Things are moving forward. The challenge is, again, having to leave, okay, if they want to have a victory. So it's saying, yes, this is what they're going to be told. If, you want to hold on to your stuff, you need to go because it is not safe.
Yeah, so don't unpack. Don't unpack.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it seems to be saying. And before I read my cards, hello to everyone in the chat. Many of you will know with the HoGaLe's, the chat is of a life, an ecosystem of its own. Yeah. So here, what's it? Someone's just saying here. I just have to click this one up. So intrepid viewer, they're called. Oh, Lena, could this be an homage?
One of mine.
Says alive. Hello from Deep Freeze, Denver, -10, and then wind chill -20. Ouch! Oh my god.
Well, maybe I won't be going up as far north as Denver.
No, and maybe you'd have to trade your puppies in for huskies.
Well, I don't know. I think they're little snow dogs. Where we went, it was snowing, 45 mile per hour winds out in the snow, and they were loving it.
Wow.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, little snow dogs. Yeah.
Fascinating. And there's many of you here, and thank you, of course, everyone, to joining us live. We really do appreciate you joining us here as well, and happy Sunday as well to anyone who is watching this on the Sunday, which is often the case, with a cup of coffee and what have you. Right, so I'll read my cards on Iceland, and then we're going to look at Jack Smith, Alex Whiting questions just after this. All right.
Okay.
So if we look here, interesting card that I get come up, the 9 of Pentacles. And I think this is really kind of talking about the relative comfort and security of people in Iceland in general. I mean, there's not many of them there, bless them, but they are quite a wealthy bunch and, secure and well. So I think this is kind of like, it's talking about the resources of the country overall, at the end of the day, they are going to be fine. They're a nation, they're quite a wealthy nation. They have a lot of resources and stuff like that, and high levels of comfort. But of course, an earthquake is an earthquake. Not earthquake, volcano. Anyway, in the obstacle position, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and we understand that this is also another card of security, of the home, the hearth. But we can almost imagine it kind of reversed like this. So literally, people's security and sense of well-being has been turned upside down. How could it not? I mean, I'm just trying to imagine if there was a volcano cracks appearing in the park opposite me. I don't think it would be easy to sleep well at night, let alone someone actually, a worker actually falling down into the crack. We don't know if I hope they were fished out, but how deep are these things? No one wants to fall into the center of the earth. So we can see here their sense of security and well-being is being affected. If we look here in the middle, it's as if everyone in the nation and the government are really pondering what's going to happen. If we look here, this can talk about harvest, return on investment and stuff like that. But sometimes if you actually look, you see the guys looking down at the ground with some concern. So sometimes there can be a concern of the fruit, the harvest. I think in this case, this is the volcano. They're concerned about what it's going to do next. You can't reason with the forces of nature. We all know this. She will just do her thing And that's that. Yeah, it's as simple as that. If we look here, I think this is what they kind of fear. So it could be that maybe they are evacuated again. We've got the poverty card here. Of course, it doesn't mean necessarily that everyone's impoverished, but that is going to be the feeling that you're going to have if you have to evacuate that area. And of course, your house could just fall into one of the holes, or it could just get smothered in lava. So there are people that may lose some livelihoods here and stuff like that, or they may feel like refugees in their own country, so to speak. So this says to me, maybe they might have to evacuate again. And particularly with the outcome card here being the judgment, the big clarion call, the big wake up call. So this could be literally the volcano making itself known again. So
Yes.
we'll have to see, but it seems like it could be a toing and throwing. They leave, they come back, they leave, they come back. So it's up to the volcano at the end of the day. Anything to add to that, ladies?
Yes, Cindy. Hi, Cindy. She's been a regular viewer for a long time. Greetings from Calgary, where it's -18 to which is -28 centigrade. And the wind chill is -42.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that's just proper cold. I mean, it's made the news over here. We're going to get some snow in the southeast because it hardly ever happens. And they're like, watch out, everyone. Weather warning, temperatures of -1.
Exactly.
You know, for
Stay
London,
indoors. Stay indoors.
indoors. The sky is falling down. Oh my goodness. -4. It's just ridiculous, isn't it, up there? Thank you, Kaya Kai. Forgive me if I've got your name wrong, for your donation.
I'm going to say, Kia, can you tell us, please, which you'd prefer? Kia, that's very kind.
Yeah.
We appreciate these donations.
Kia. Much appreciated. And of course, it's all shared with the ladies as well, just so you know. Are we ready for the next question?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So there's already over 1,000 of you in the house already. Thank you so much. Everyone's piling in. All right. Now, look, this is a Jack Smith question, not directly about Jack Smith, but about someone else who I'd completely forgotten about. And I think it's a good point. It's a good point. I think we all have as well. But let's see. Yeah. So this question has come in from Sarah Hellis. So she says, hi, Hoagie and ladies. We haven't heard a peep about Alex Whiting, former Jack Smith associate who helped prosecute crimes against humanity in Kosovo in the late 90s. Ladies, maybe you've heard more about this guy, but I've not heard much about him. And it says Kosovo in the late 90s and worked as a prosecutor with the International Criminal Court in 2010 to 2013. As a current member of Smith's team, how has he been occupying his time?
Oh, good question.
Well, to ask, eh? I remember this extra person being brought in. And it's
I think he brought a few from, those days in The Hague. So why has he brought in this guy, Alex Whiting?
Yeah, and what's going on? Because we've not really heard much about him. Yeah, I thought, that's a good one. So we're warming up, folks, with the questions. Warming up. Alex Whiting.
Alex Whiting has prosecuted war criminals.
From across the days. So he's obviously got some clout. I mean, I remember the trials when I was a kid. I wasn't that old, but I mean, I remember the whole Kosovo thing, and what was it, Slobodan Milosevic and all of these ne'er-do-wells.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh.
This is quite interesting. My goodness. All right, who's ready to go? Go for it. What, Lady G, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go for it.
Well, he is a very strong person that can effect change, okay? And he's looking into some of the more toxic elements of 45. When it comes to 45's dealings with others, some new things are coming. The cup is full, okay? When it comes to 45's past dealings, lining his pockets because of things he has told others that he has seen, what he has been selling along the way. The challenge is, Trump's path, what he's done. The outcome is juggling this, and again, it was the payouts that he instigated and was involved in. How
Very clear story.
From foreign governments is what I get.
Yeah, your story was the story of your cards, which is very clear, wasn't it? Very clear, very linear. Lena, what do you have?
Well, I had to pull more cards than usual. I'm normally a 4 or 5 card girl, but again, the story just kept. Okay. So here he is with the upraised sword and the little birds here. This is the information and people speaking. He's, I think, been in charge of getting witness statements about this stuff in terms of the documents being sold abroad, right? So then, here we go. They are threatening people with jail, or certainly the Yeti could be looking at jail alone for these charges this guy is dealing with. Here's Trump as the emperor, as he often turns up for me.
Yeah. Same for Lady G.
They're almost there. The problem now is the crossroads of when. That would be alien canon in this case going forward. They're ready, but they're just waiting to jump. And I think they've got 2 plans, right? Because if they were dealing with a normal judge, they would be going in one direction, doing it like this. But if she pulls stunts, they've got a plan B. I'm very pleased to see this, so that whatever happens, they can go ahead with these charges. And they are big and they're international.
Fascinating. It's some really interesting stuff. And my cards say something similar, but they also show something else potentially going on as well. Let me just click up here. Also, Edie. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
Edie, darling. Besos.
Besos. And who else? Yeah, so kind. And Celavi has also donated as well. Enjoy this beautiful trio, Hogarth, Lena, Lady G, special talents and lovely minds. Thank you so much. And to give a contrast to the story, so Dennis Thomas says, it's a balmy 25 degrees and snowing. Oh, wait, 25 degrees, sorry.
No. Yeah, you're thinking Celsius. Yum.
Yeah, in the UK, 25 degrees is summertime. Nice. No, this is ironic here. This is a balmy 25 not degrees, it's Fahrenheit, and snowing in Laurel Highlands of Fayette, NAM County, which is what? PA is Pennsylvania, is it? PA is PA, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. So up there, kind of a bit of Appalachian snow maybe coming down. All right. I had to pull 2 clarifiers as well because, again, the narrative wanted to go on. So we've all had to add a bit to the story here. So here's Jack Smith coming out here, of course, with the Ace of Wands. So he brought this guy in for a bit of heft and a bit of kapow and to kind of beat some people around the head with, because sometimes literally the Ace of Wands can be literally the stick to, wake up people. if we look here in the technical obstacle position, but really what is this about is to talk about the messaging, yeah, the messaging, all of the, you know, because look, the Knight of Cups, when we're dealing with normal people, can be quite a romantic card. But here we're talking about the seduction of lies with Duc l'Orange, yeah, all of this, you know, this is the big lie and all of the other seductive techniques that he's used to bamboozle people. He's been brought in to bring a cycle to an end, because we got the world card here, endings and beginnings, beginnings and endings. So I think the hope is that he is going to assist Jack Smith in this whole cycle, but also as well, it can suggest he's been employed for his worldly knowledge. We can take it that way as well. This is a seasoned character who has been around. He knows his way around the block. Here, though, we get the Six of Swords, which is about moving to smoother waters. Now, I think this could be interpreted in quite a few ways. It could be to, of course, help literally us all move on from all of just this whole saga that never seems to end. But also as well, there is an element here of moving on. There could be even something going on in terms of the discussions, who to move on from. I think this is also talking a little bit about Eileen Cannon as well, and some of those members of the judiciary that are pro-Trump. You know, how do we navigate, because this is a card of navigation, how do we navigate those choppy waters and get to the smoother ones? But if we look here, my last card was the Chariot. So either way, they want to move forward with agency, gusto, and power. Yeah. And this really shows that they are going to spring very soon. And in regards to what my clarifiers is about, look, the money changing hands, how Duc l'Orange was, you know, doing all of his stuff. And, you know, we know what this card means. Particularly in this context, it can talk about corruption. And then when we see the next card, we can see the abuses of power. So ultimately, here, the Six of Swords is telling me that they're going to have to navigate carefully in some kind of way because of the likes of Judge Cannon and, you know, who they are dealing with. But ultimately, it looks like they're going to come up with the goods about all of the corruption and all that stuff. So fingers crossed, I think it still works out well. Anything to add to that, ladies?
Nope.
No. Moving on.
Nope.
No? All right, moving on. All right, now we're going to talk. We have to talk now. Several people, 3 people asked about the Houthi rebels. Yeah, so we're going up, cranking up another notch here. And there's over 1,300 of you in the room. Thank you so much.
Guys.
Yeah, fabulous, fabulous. All right, here we go. So this is another one in from Nicola, but not only Nicola, this is also Manuela Orchid asked, and Arlene Honecker. Hopefully I said that right. So what did we say here? So again, everyone's asking about, I can't read out all of them, otherwise it would take too long. So here, so Houthi rebels are threatening revenge on US/UK for Middle East strikes. So for anyone who doesn't know, UK and the USA have done a joint effort to put strikes on the Houthi rebels who've been holding up cargo ships and all this stuff. While Iran hijacked/seized an oil tanker. Wow, another one. How coordinated are Houthi and Iran in the attacks on shipping? And as there are certain, and she's asking, are there certain cards that show in relation to other countries, do any of these turn up and show if anyone is masterminding? Sorry, it was a little bit choppy there. All the sea attacks. And, you know, she says, looking forward to you guys putting the world straight. What I would add to that is, I said a while ago, I said, I think Putin is using his influence over the Houthis and, of course, coordinating with Iran to disrupt those links, because I think they're trying to do it for economic reasons to make Biden look bad and, of course, affect Europe. But let's see what the cards are saying. So is there any masterminding behind this, potentially from Russia, and Iran. What do you reckon?
Okay, let's have a look. And let me just say, Australia, we've been lending support to the US, as we always do, and the UK is in the Red Sea, like we should be there.
Interesting.
It just makes us a target. We do this all the time. And we are all part of AUKUS, which is, you know, Australia, UK, US, part of the Five Eyes movement.
Very interesting. So they're plotting revenge. So we'll see. We'll see. But who's behind all of this? My instinct is it's Putinska, and I remember reading on this a while ago when it was just beginning, and there's lots of tentacles there. But anyway, let's see what the cards say. I don't want to preempt.
Let's see. Who's behind the Houthi rules? Oh. Oh, far out. Far out.
Interesting. Right. Okay. Who's ready to go?
I am. I'm a bit blown away by these cards.
Go for it, Lena.
Oh my God. So I think you might be right, Hoagie. On top, here's the King of Swords. So my thinking from my geopolitical reading of stuff, Iran is a major player in the funding and stuff. And we all know Russia hasn't got a lot of money to burn at the moment because they're so overstretched. But behind it, here is this figure. Then the world card, which I think is saying in the context of this question, lots of players have got together for this. It's like everyone who's got an axe to grind with someone going, I know, let's back the Houthi rebels, and that's going to cause problems for the US, UK, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of play, far more than I would have thought. Strength card. Look, these are alpha men at the end of the day, and it's like they're proving their strength individually as leaders, but also they're using the passion of terrorist groups to show their strength. We might be a small force, but we can bring the West to its knees in the Red Sea and cut off. Or look at this as a show of strength. That's why I chose deck to use, not the regular deck, because it's a much darker energy. And here we have the Seven of Swords. This, I think, is the actual Houthi terrorists themselves. Like, they're prepared to swallow the sword to make the point. Right? And Knight of Swords, I think this is going to go on for a while because it's this gathering of forces, you know, momentum. And also, as we all know, with the Knight of Swords, the impulsive knight, I don't think this is massively well thought out. It's more your enemy's enemy is your friend, you know, and so I'll pick up every enemy I can and go for it. It's much more, it's got many more tentacles than I thought. Yeah. That's it.
All right.
Oh,
Lady G, what do you have?
Sorry, Lady G, if I could just, because this comment's important, I think, for this. The Houthis have always been a proxy for Iran, like Hezbollah. They are a Shia minority, that's Shia, controlling a Sunni majority in Yemen. So they're Shia Iranian proxies. Sorry, Lady G.
No problem. So what we have overarching is this abuse of power, this wanting to control, because they're angst, anxiety, their unhappiness with things. At the center of it, I think you're right. There's more than just the one, because they are looking before going what's being offered. So I think they're being offered something from somewhere else as well. Yeah. Because coming into it is what's being sold, the wish fulfilling card by someone in power. So of course that could be Pooty, because he wants to control the world and it wants to have a tower moment for the US, of course, and Europe. The challenge is justice, and this is being juggled because of above it what's being birthed, what's coming down when it comes to the sword. Okay, so with the sword, it's not only the power of that, but that mental thing that they're trying to create for the West and Europe. They want to create chaos.
Yeah. I find it so interesting as well, Lady G, that you got the world card, because my instinct, this is all to disrupt world trade, global trade. You got the world card as well. And that was my instinct, because do you remember when there was a while ago now, when that ship jackknifed in I can't remember, the Suez Canal or whatever, do you remember it all went pear-shaped? And I'm like, this seems to be another one. And they're attacking oil tankers, which we know increases petrol prices, which we know, particularly in voting years, people don't like their gas going up. And what do? They blame Biden. But my cards are very interesting. I had to put a couple clarifiers as well. Okay, so the question, of course, is about the Houthi rebels and stuff like that. Look at the first card that I got. So Spirit is saying this. Look at this. We have got the Knight of Pentacles. Now, we all know the Knight of Pentacles is what? The loyal knight, etc., steadfast, virtue, all of this stuff. But we also understand that the Knight of Pentacles is also the mercenary. They're being used as mercenaries. There it is, clear as day.
Clear as day.
Clear as day. They're mercenaries. Yeah, they're being paid to do this. But even so, they themselves may not necessarily like what's being offered. Yeah, because look at here, they're kind of like, well, we're being paid. Well, we're going to do this. But really, I think it's actually put them in a very uncomfortable place, because you'll see with my two clarifier cards why. So here they are. So not really kind of liking, but I think this is also to do just with their domestic situation. These are not contented people. You're not part of the Houthi rebels taking over ships if you're happy watching Netflix at home, eating your food, happy life. Of course not. Yeah, you're going to be upset about some things. If we look here, this is further clarified as well by the middle card, which is the Five of Cups. So again, we're seeing quite a lot of emotions here as well, old scores to settle. But ultimately, for the Houthis, is this going to work out? I'm not so sure. I think they're being exploited. For me, personally, I think they're being exploited. If we look here, there is an element here of withdrawing, reflection, going deep inside, particularly as well because they've been bombed to what, which is maybe making them pause and reflect a little bit as well. But also as well, anyone who's masterminding the plans, because let's not forget that the Hermit card also deals with detailed plans as well. So the plans might have to be reviewed a little bit. Here we got Stinky Fish out here. So, I think there's going to be more news that's going to come out about this, where we may find out certain unpleasant characters are involved. However, I pulled two clarifiers, and look what I got. I got the Hanged Man and I got Joe Biden. So what that tells me is, whatever their threats are, because obviously they've got to say something nasty, but at the end of the day, look, it's a fish coming out of a cup. They're obviously going to say, oh, USA, America, you're going to pay for this. All right, fine. You're way in the back of nowhere. Not to completely dismiss it, but what this suggests is that the attacks coordinated by Biden have probably halted them in their tracks for now, because look, it's the Hanged Man giving a change of perspective, but it's not a fast card. So it seems what it would suggest is this coordinated effort may pause it for now. I doubt if it will eradicate it, but I think it's going to cause a pause for thought. But in this context, that looks like Biden to me, the King of Cups. Anything to add to that, ladies?
Yeah, well, how many wars have we seen to acquire and get oil because we come from gas guzzling nations? Had we all gone green 30 years ago and ironed out the wrinkles and had efficient alternatives, we would not be over this barrel constantly, you know, and insecure about oil. We shouldn't be needing it anymore. You know, like it drives me insane. And we're no closer than we were 30 years ago to cutting dependence on oil altogether.
Yeah.
Or at least minimizing.
Because exactly, because it would end a lot of conflicts, really, wouldn't it? I mean, not end. I mean, humanity would just
there'd be another issue, but it wouldn't be oil, and oil.
Yeah, that's true. Very, very true. All right, are we ready for the next question?
For the super sticker. Thank you, guys.
Oh goodness! Oh, there's more things that have arrived. Let me click some up. I see it's gone to 10 now. So Celavi, Lisa Ann, thank you so much for your donation. That's very, very kind of you. Also, as well, who do we have here? We've got One with the Universe. Love that name. Thank you. P. Thierry, thank you so much for your super sticker.
Guys,
Foggy,
so
Foggy, bless you. Thank you so much.
And Foggy's just made a banana upside down cake, I saw.
Oh, yes. I saw that in the comments, which would be delicious. And Carmela Katuti, thank you so much for your donation as well. Much appreciated, everyone. All right. Are we ready for question 4? Now, this for me was a bit of a jaw.
Are we?
Oh, yes. The infamous 4.
Okay, look, this one, look, we have to go there. This question came in. So this is a Fani Willis and Nathan Wade question. Do you know about this?
No. Is that who she's supposed to have had the affair with? Is that
apparently, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. So let me just set some context here. So, what I put here is, and I've literally, you can see here, I've done it literally with the eyeball because I was just like, what? I was just like, what is this? I literally only found out about this before the show. So yes, there's an alleged affair between Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. That's the context. This story broke on the 12th of January, which was yesterday. And it also says Willis has been subpoenaed to appear at a deposition in Wade's divorce proceedings. So she's been subpoenaed. So they're talking about being a firestorm. Could this be a conflict of interest? And if so, it could really maybe harm certain things with you-know-who, Duck LaRange and all of that. But let me read the question out from Maggie Brooks. Yeah. It's a little bit longer, but I think it's worth it. Here we are.
Yeah, because I need context.
Exactly. So she's written here, will Fani Willis and her lead prosecutor, which is Nathan Wade, have to recuse or turn the GA case over to another team? It's a very pertinent question. After a defendant filed a motion of impropriety. Now, that defendant, when I read through the story, was a man called Michael Roman, who was part of the indicted for Jan 6th conspiracy and stuff like that. So that gives some context. Obviously, an axe to grind, let's not forget. And filed a motion of impropriety against Fani and the prosecutor Wade and Wade. Apparently, in Wade's divorce proceedings, his wife cited an affair or the like with Fani. So the wife is accusing Fani and he of having an affair. The judge is meeting with both of them soon. So that's obviously the subpoena. To determine the truth of the situation, it has also come out that the prosecutor has never tried a felony case and his qualifications don't seem to add up with the position he's in. And they've written here, starting to sound fishy. People are also upset he's been paid allegedly 650,000, but over many months with a reasonable hourly fee. So there's a lot in there. I think, shall we just kind of read on this in the sense of, will Fani have to recuse herself and hand over the case?
Yeah.
How about
that? All right.
In order not to jeopardize it. I mean, you see, this is high stakes, isn't it? I told you it was a
very high stakes.
Oh, I was shocked to learn this stuff, but hey, I did say to everyone, 2024, expect the unexpected. We're going to see some stuff, folks, but this is rather worrying.
Very worrying. Oh, those late night office rendezvous are always high risk zone. Oh,
yeah, no.
Will Fani have to recuse?
Will she have to recuse herself? Because allegedly, according to CNN, and of course, we always have to take these news sources with a little pinch of salt, but allegedly, lawyers are coming in and saying this case is too important to have any jeopardy on it. Maybe she should recuse herself in order to, but still.
Well, I want to say, no matter what that is, it doesn't change the case. It doesn't change the reality of the aspects of the case.
And I think that's really an important point, Lady G. Essentially, her work is done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's been working the last 3 years, getting it ready to go.
Exactly.
It is, not to quote too much the words of Boris Johnson, but in this case, the case is rather oven ready. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Yes.
She's prepped the turkey very, very well. But nonetheless, of course, as we know, the GOP are going to use every ounce, every scrimmage, every crumb they can to discredit. Who's ready to go first?
Well, I can go.
You're breaking up a bit, Hoagie.
Oh, sorry. All right, Lady G.
Lady G.
Yeah. So the card that was pulled that's overriding this case, you're going to love this, passion and pleasure. savor your life with passion and pleasure. So you can't make this up.
Don't you love the cards?
Yeah. I'm telling you. So it's what she's got in her lap, what she's holding to, and again where this is going. Now, at the center of it is the strength of this, but what's crossing it is what someone's trying to get away with. Now, who is it? Is it she's trying to get away, or is it they're trying to set her up to make it look like way worse than it is? Which is what I think it's more about. Because going into it is the past. They're going to look at the history of this. Yeah. And the karma card, they're looking, though, at what has been built, and it's going to be judged, is what they're looking at it now, the judgment about it. The challenge is, that this is moving forward rapidly. The outcome is the hidden things, the secret things. There will be new actions when it comes to Fani Willis's picture. So that part's not looking too good. It looks like they're really going to go balls to the walls on this after her.
No holds barred. That's what I've got.
Exactly.
Lena, what do you have?
Well, okay. So mine led off with the judgment card too, right?
Yeah.
So they're looking for that. There's the magician card, which is, I think they're trying to fabricate a major thing out of a smaller, inappropriate at best, but not a major thing. As it says in the comments, interesting that 45 can rape women and that's ho-hum, but an affair between two co-workers is a scandal. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they are working night and day on this. This is the Six of Wands. So they're going to be relentless. That's followed by justice. I think there's going to be a case that they have to account for. It could be her being subpoenaed to his divorce, or it could be conservative legal pressure for her to recuse. The only way of light I've got is at the end is temperance. So it could be two things to me. Either this will get more major in the coming weeks and even months and then sort of resolve and think, or she does have to go, but it's all right. She can be hands off at that point and hand it over.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So it's not the end of the world. Heavy. It's heavy for her in the meantime.
Exactly.
I mean, I know, and that's why I said brace yourselves, because wanting to see what the cards have to say. But I mean, it's high stakes stuff, because, you know, there's a lot riding, and of course, the Fani Willis case is seen as one of the strongest ones against Duc Larange as well, and obviously, any whiff of impropriety, as we know, with the sheer hypocrisy of the GOP, who are doing, of course, wife swapping and doing all of this kind of stuff and threesomes and not themselves routinely. But the second it's anyone that is trying to hold anyone else to account, then of course it becomes, you know, sin of sins at the Jezebel Inn. So it's how this is going to politically kind of play out. But anyway, so I'll read my cards. Very interesting. So here we have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, the Ace of Wands, which, you know, is about fertile new beginnings, you know, stuff like that. But when we look at the next card, which is turning up in the obstacle position, you can't make this stuff up. Look, a relationship.
Yeah.
There, literally a relationship. And we know what the other meaning for the Ace of Wands can be as well, especially in the context of a relationship. I won't be explicit, but I'll let you guys use your imagination. So there's definitely passion here. Yeah, there's at least, it's showing there was at least some kind of attraction in some kind of way. Was it a full affair? We'll have to see. But should it jeopardize the case? Really? No, it shouldn't, because that's private stuff, essentially. If we look here, look who's in the middle. This is Duc Larange thinking, oh, this is my moment here. This is my moment. You know, these two, you know, have potentially done something, which is water off the duck's back for Duc Larange, because he's done absolutely everything all under the sun. But here he is turning up in the middle of the reading. He's going to try to do his best to disrupt things. If we look here, we get the Six of Swords. So maybe Fani might have to move to smoother waters. She may have to. It depends how the pressure piles up. Obviously, Duc Larange and his team are going to do their absolute level best to try and get her out of the way. In regards to what? Things that have happened in the past. Yeah. But also as well, this is very much a card that turns up for the GOP as well, coming with their family values and stuff like that. So I think it does hang a bit in the balance with the cards that I've got here, because the relationship card has literally turned up, and it's also turned up in the obstacle position. Duc Larange is here, obviously trying to make his best he's hoping he's going to be able to move to smoother waters with this. However, as we've been saying, she's done so much work in terms of preparation, getting all of the ducks in a row. Even if she does have to recuse herself, it is more likely to be a delay rather than a denial of the case. But if she does have to recuse herself, who would the replacement be? Ideally, we would hope that things continue smoothly, but who is going to have to move off the scene? We can't be 100% sure yet. We'll have to see how it comes out in the wash. Anything to add to that, ladies?
Well, unfortunately, it's a big story. Out of 5 cards, I got 4 major arcana.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to hear more and much more about it. But if the GOP go rogue on this, there's so much hypocrisy that will be exposed. It's almost dumb of them to go too hard on it because it can be pointed back at them. But difficult, very difficult for her.
Yeah. Tricky. Yeah, tricky, dicey cards. But as you know, folks, we don't read with bias on the show. We take the questions and we just read them in good faith, and we let the messages come through. And all of us pretty much got a very similar thing. This is a stormy situation for Fani. This could disrupt quite a few things. All right, are we ready for the last question? And this will involve a Shakespeare and a 1-card pull, I think.
Okay. Just before we move on, a few people in the chat either don't think she did have this affair or had an affair with someone else. I think the problem is it almost doesn't matter. The problem is the genie out of the bottle with the story,
Right.
you know, is doing the damage. Yeah.
And also as well, let's not forget, this is his wife who is divorcing him, who is saying this. This ain't let's not just dismiss the wife because we don't like the story. Let's not disrespect her. She's obviously saying she's involved, and the judge believes her enough to have subpoenaed. So I sometimes have a little grievance when people just toss the wife under the bus whenever do you know what I mean? Like, we need to kind of respect that it's come to this level. We're not saying that's what the outcome will be, but we have to also respect the question and the people involved. For her to even mention Fani in this, you know, you don't do that lightly for one of the head prosecutors for Donald Trump in one of these landmark cases. So there must be a reason why, and there must be a reason why the judge subpoenaed Fani as well to give evidence in the divorce case. So they're right, but let's not just dismiss the wife either. Yeah.
And one last comment.
We also have to be open to the fact we don't know what the wife's political agenda is.
Yeah, she could be a twisted magpie. It could go either way.
Sure.
But Magster Tarot, hi Liz, says the problem is women have to be 10 times more competent and squeaky cleaner than any men. And it's so true.
That's true as well. So let's see what comes out in the wash, folks. Let's see what comes out in the wash. All right. Now, last question. So now this is interesting. It's a two-hander. One is about Jeffrey Epstein, and the other one is about Roger Stone. And I would like Shakespeare's opinion on Roger Stone, because we've not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, let's see what the bard has to say. But this is coming from Akalisi. So she says, hi, HoGaLe's. I assume it's this she, it could be a he. But anyway, hi, HoGaLe's. I absolutely love watching you guys. Thank you. And I look forward to Saturday all week long. I even tell my sister not to call when you guys are on.
Oh, bless.
Thank you. She says, I have 2 questions. So this is quite pertinent. Is Jeffrey Epstein dead? Yeah. Don't know if you guys have already read on him. Actually, I've not read on him at all, actually. Was he murdered or did he commit suicide? ? Also, what's going to happen to Roger Stone? That could be the 1-card pull. Will he finally get his just rewards? He's the most reprehensible character after Trump and Giuliani. The biggest sleazebag who used to go to sex clubs like Plato's Retreat back in the day in NYC. Oh, pardon.
Yes,
Says they're disgusting and so ugly. Amazed anyone would... She says, I didn't even see this bit. Amazed anyone would have sex with him willingly. Bless. They must have been so drugged up back then. Oh, wow. That's the bit. I didn't even see that bit before.
Oh, honey, I was there. You know, there were good nights and bad nights.
Well, the
So-
latest thing with Roger Stone, he was talking with the next cop about assassinating Swalwell.
You
We
swore
need
well.
to take him out and just see how brave the Democrats are then. They actually have him on tape saying that.
Yes.
Wow.
And this is really serious. We should roll that over to next week. I'll try and remember to remind you, Hoagie, because it's big in
Ooh.
itself.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
Swalwell and one other person he talked about
Yeah.
assassinating.
Starts
Yeah.
with an N that I can't remember, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's do the Epstein, and then we maybe do or shall we leave Roger Stone for next week? Is that what you're saying?
I
Or do a
think
one
so,
card pull?
because it's a
Okay.
really big thing now. It's a
Okay.
whole new
There-
dimension.
Nadler was the name. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
wow.
so
Okay, in that case, so don't worry, I'll keep it on the paper. I'll put here next week. I've just written next week. Because
Roger
obviously there's
Stone,
a lot more.
it has to have a dedicated 5 minutes because it's
Fine,
really
fine. Okay,
you know.
fair enough. Fair enough. We'll do that next week. All right, Epstein. Is he really dead? Simple question. Oh, I have a card that just fell out.
What
Look.
fell out?
The star. Duck
Oh,
L'Orange. Duck L'Orange is already. Wow. Okay.
Are we doing a one card on this?
We've got time for a full card pull. Let's do a full card pull on this one for
and
Epstein.
we can
Is he
still
dead?
do Shakespeare on Roger Stone
Yeah,
at the end, but we'll do the more detailed political stuff next
yeah,
week.
that makes sense.
We all
That makes
know
sense.
he's okay.
Yeah, we all know he's a douchebag. All right, so Epstein, is he really dead? And
Epstein.
we'll get Shakespeare on.
Okay,
on,
while we're shuffling, Deborah says about the Fani Willis thing and her prosecutor, the divorce was filed for in November 2021.
Mm,
When did he begin working with Fani? Oh, there's a very good question. So if anyone can find that out for us, that'd be great.
yeah, maybe we can follow up on that next week. Because these are, like I said, it was juicy, like very pertinent questions, because this will shape very important things going forward, particularly into this 2024 election cycle as well. It's like, wow. So it's high stakes. All right. Epstein, is he dead? Simple question. Oh my God. It's like I keep getting the same cards just coming back.
I know,
Yeah.
isn't it bizarre?
Oh my, I'm going to shut up. Okay. Who's ready to go?
I can, if you want.
Go for
Go
it.
ahead.
Look, I think he is dead. Wheel of Fortune, his number was up, right, with what he's done. I think now, here's the money. Funny that there should be money surrounding Epstein's death, right? So here we have the Page of Wands. I think this was whoever snuck into the jail or whatever with a message for someone else. Could be other inmates, could be guards, whatever. I'll just stop for a second. I digress. My personal theory with Epstein is he was helped along, you know, but that's as far as I'm prepared to go. And then the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles.
That's rare.
Very rare. So money was involved, because we know the Little Black Book had the most powerful men in the world in it, you know.
You know what I got when you pulled both of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Little Black Book, but Epstein and Ghislaine were getting money blackmailing people.
Yeah, I think it was both of them as a team making money, the King and
Oh,
Queen.
of course. Yeah, King and Queen. Of
I
course.
totally think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lady G, what do you have?
Well, what I got, the overriding cards, I think, is Ghislaine. Okay.
Mhm.
She had information, And
She sure
at the
is.
center of it was a victory for what? The White House. Yeah, get rid of him as a message to Elaine.
Yeah.
Because going into it, there would have been a loss with what
Yeah.
was coming out, being birthed, if it all came out. So the challenge was looking deeper into this as to who was sharing what. So I think it was a hit job done to keep Ghislaine quiet and protecting 45 and then the other wealthy people as well.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
What have you got, Hogie?
All right, get ready, folks.
Yeah.
Just get ready, folks.
Okay.
So remember I was shuffling and what fell out, yeah? Here we are. And as you know, and I'm sorry if I've corrupted the star card in people's mind, but as you know, when I read on this, I always say this deals with what? Duck L'Orange. But there's what I'm feeding, interpreting is that the shadow of this card is the narcissist. So we're talking about Epstein as well, who is obviously malignant narcissist and all that stuff. So this is really talking about the narcissist in connection with the whole shebang. It fell out, major arcana. Now my cards are a bit different. Now, if we look here, King of Swords, yeah, we know Epstein had the judgment against him. Yeah, we know he had the judgment against him. He went to prison, etc., and all that kind of stuff. But the question is he dead? Look what turns up in the obstacle position. Partnerships. We know that he was in partnerships with what? A lot of powerful men. Yeah, we know this. A lot of powerful men and all of this kind of stuff. But here we can see the partnerships, the relationships. But this is where it turns for me, where I'm not quite sure if he is dead, because in the middle we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. Now we know when the card, now I don't get many reversals in this deck. When the card is the right way up, this is felicity, friendship, coordination, working on a joint plan, etc. But we know that when it's reversed, this can be dark money and corruption. So we see here, this says to me, Epstein has been, you know, well, we know about the dark money and the corruption anyway. Look who turns up again. I think this is Duck L'Orange again. Here he is. Yeah, yeah. He's turned up as the king of wands in the previous reading. So he, of course, when all of this was coming out, he was on the throne. But look, the outcome card. It's the Seven of Swords, which is trying to get away with something. This is my little theory. I don't think it was a suicide. I think that we can all believe is just like, that's probably baloney. Some people would say that maybe it was a hit strike, again, for entertainment purposes only. But my instinct is what he knows is so bombastic that he would have been able to bargain and threaten many men in power, because we know actually quite a lot of the judiciary was also involved in this kind of stuff. And my instinct is I think he may have slipped away, and it's one of those convenient things. He's dead. Now we can kind of forget about him, almost like a plot line from Sunset Beach or some dodgy drama. So my instinct is that for me, this coordination here, this dark coordination here to get away with something is a little bit too strong for me. So I'm going to say maybe he isn't, but he may have had facial surgery, changed his life, disappeared. Look how many private islands he's got anyway. It's not that hard to disappear in the world, you know, if you go to somewhere obscure. So that's my spin. Anything to add on that?
And one more point on that. Bill Barr was one of the last people to see Epstein alive.
Yes, judges. Judges. And apparently
and I
his
think
father.
that was the freak out. It's not, and if it was just underage girl, but I think there was a lot darker stuff. Buried in there.
Definitely, very dark. That Three of Pentacles reverse. I think there's more legs to it. My instinct is he might still be around. The world is still a very, very big place. There's many private islands and stuff like that that they were doing this stuff on anyway. And Epstein would have his pick, his choice. But that's just my personal opinion, and of course for entertainment purposes only. Ladies, can you believe it? The show, we've run over. We've run over.
But we can't go without the bard. The audience
Oh,
will never
of
forgive us.
course. All right. So the bard's opinion on Roger Stone. Whose turn is it to call? I think, is it Lady G this time?
No, I think it's
mine. Oh,
Yes.
okay, cool.
All right. So Lena, tell me when to stop, and we'll get the bard's opinion on Roger Stone before we do a deep dive on him.
Ready, stop.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, this is coming from Measure for Measure. It says, I know what I know. I can hardly believe that, since you know not what you speak. Ooh, cryptic.
Very cryptic.
And then on the next page, it says, more of your conversation would infect my brain. But you know what? I think that's quite a cryptic one, because this Roger Stone, he's a bit of a sketchy character. I know what I know, because he's very confident in his words.
Yes.
I can hardly believe that, since you know not what you speak. Measure for Measure. I think in a way the bard here is talking about Roger Stone's attitude. This is his attitude.
Yes. I know what I know, and you don't know it.
You guys don't know.
You don't know what I know.
Yeah.
Which is why he's so dangerous.
That's why he's so dangerous. Isn't it interesting that the bard should say that? I think that's spot on. I know what I know. I can hardly believe that, since you know not what you speak. Wow. All right, folks, we have to leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. My goodness, it was a bit of a juicy one this evening, wasn't it? And of course, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you'd like to subscribe to the ladies channel as well, there in the video description below. And of course, if you'd like to join me in Italy as well, bookings are now available. You can now book to see me in October. Oh, I know. It's just like, I have to pinch myself. Honestly, I have to pinch myself, but it'd be absolutely fabulous. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Happy Sunday to those who might be joining us afterwards. I hope you enjoyed that show. That was some hot spice tonight, but all good things must come to an end. So we will see you all next week. So bye-bye for now. All right. See you, folks.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.